What's up, people? Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing more questions. So let's jump straight into it. The questions for today come from Jacob Starr, and I'll be throwing up the question here on the screen. Is there some magical number that's considered a healthy amount of weight to lose per week, per month? Do people in the obese category have to worry about loose skin if they lose enough weight too quickly, or are there ways to help minimize that? I believe I have a bit personally from dropping 90 pounds, but I know I certainly have a little more to lose personally before I can diagnose it as that. First of all, Jacob, thanks for the question. Vulnerable question, I respect that. And let's jump right into it. So is there a magical number of weight to lose per week? So even the way he's phrasing the question, I think he's kind of getting at the idea that there probably isn't a magical number, but what are the guidelines for how fast you should lose? I'm gonna keep it totally short and sweet. I will say that I borrow from the RP Strength guidelines. I cannot recommend their content enough. They're a huge reason that Josh and I were able to start Ivory in the first place because of their content. So thank you so much to the RP Strength, Renaissance Periodization. You guys are the best. They would essentially recommend that 2 pounds per week is probably as fast as you want to go. I'll throw up the percentages here below so you can get a little bit more detail on that. But practically speaking, especially for a male in that probably 180 to 280 range of pounds per body weight, losing 2 pounds a week is probably about as fast as you want to go. I say that because there is a sustainable element to fat loss, right? So if you're losing more than that, I don't think it's necessarily bad that you'd be losing more than that. It's more like, is your daily approach too aggressive, and are you going to get burnout on that approach sooner than later? So what do I mean by that? If you're 300 pounds and you're 150 pounds overweight, and you're losing a crazy amount of weight per week because you've just started eating literally chicken, broccoli, and rice in very minimal quantities per day, that's cool that you're losing fat that fast, but to what extent can you keep that up? You know what I mean? I would rather see somebody take a more sustainable approach, eat somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 calories a day while prioritizing a lot of protein, great carbohydrate sources, great fat sources, and lose 1 to 2 pounds per week for an entire year to lose sustainably 100 pounds. Does that make sense? So Jacob, to get to your question, just straight up, I would say if you want to get after it, shoot for 2 pounds a week. People need straight up numbers. Percentages are cool. Percentages are helpful if you want to math out about it. But if you need numbers, 2 pounds per week, really any kind of weight loss is good, but that's the magical number in my personal opinion. It's the number that I did last year when I did my fat loss phase. It's the number that I followed this year for the early portions of my fat loss phase. It works like a charm. You can preserve as much muscle mass as you want while you're doing it. Second part of his question is, do people in the obese category have to worry about loose skin if they lose enough weight too quickly? So I'm not an expert, and I want to be clear about that. I'm not an expert, but my guess about whether or not obese people have to worry about losing too quickly, I don't really think it has to do with the rate of loss. If you think about it, it's like if you have a balloon that's full of water and we just want to take the water out of the balloon is probably not going to be any more or less elastic based on the rate that the water comes out of the balloon. That being said, if you are obese, I have to shoot it to you straight. There's probably a good chance that if you get down to a very low body fat percentage, you will have loose skin. That's a really unfortunate reality, but it is true, and I want to shoot people straight on this channel. That being said, it's probably really genetic too. I've seen some people lose 100, 200 pounds and have very minimal loose skin, and seemingly it doesn't make sense, right? But I think skin is literally more elastic for some people than others, and that's just kind of an unfortunate or fortunate genetic reality. In terms of the rate though, Jacob, I don't think it matters. And although you didn't directly ask this, Jacob, I am gonna throw a little bit of a bonus opinion on here. I think sometimes when people are super overweight and they just wanna lose all the weight super quick, they only care about getting the number on the scale down. And while it does take a more, in my opinion, mature approach and long-term vision for your body and your physique and your health, I think if people, when they were obese, started training with weights and focusing less on purely fat loss, it would actually benefit them in the long run. Now I get it. When you're obese, you have a health problem because you're carrying too much body fat, so you need to get the body fat off. But imagine if you took an obese person and, to the extent that it was possible, had them train with weights. First of all, they're already carrying so much extra weight that literally everything they do is kind of weight training. And that sounds bad, but if you think about it, just walking, if I weighed 100 extra pounds right now, walking would be 100 pounds more difficult. It would literally be like me strapping on a 100-pound weight vest and walking. That would be exhausting. So what I'm getting at here is, if there's a chance at minimizing loose skin when it's all said and done, build some muscle. Give your skin a reason to hold on to something, to fill a shape. If you have a bicep, like, give your skin a reason to stick onto the bicep by weight training. So that's what I'm trying to say. To sum that thought up in maybe a nice little tiny bow, if you're obese, fat loss is important. Maybe build some muscle along the way so that in the end, you're actually jacked and lean and not just sort of a deflated version of your formerly obese self. Anyway, Jacob, I appreciate the question. Thank you so much. I hope these videos have been helpful. Give me feedback in the comments. I don't pretend to think that all these videos are going to be awesome. I'm sure I'll make mistakes and some of these will be helpful and some won't. Let me know. I love feedback. Shoot it to me straight. Also, one thing I keep forgetting to pitch on the channel is, if you're interested in coaching for body recomposition, if you want to lose body fat or gain some muscle, I do that. Hit me up. Ivory Fitness is the name of the company that my friend Josh and I co-founded, and it's really sick. We've had a lot of cool results. I'll throw up a transformation or two here so you can see what we've done and totally apply. You can hit us up at ivoryfitness.com. Interested in Ivory, do it, click it. We would love to work with you. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in.